Hey everyone, welcome to this 3-part series where we build a beautiful and functional task management app from scratch. So in today's video, we are going to focus on the front end and designing the UI with React. So let's just see how a quick demo of how this app works. So this is our home page, or in another word, we can call it the upcoming page. So we filter our tasks by today, tomorrow, and this week. So these are the tasks I have today, the tasks I have tomorrow, and the tasks I have this week. I can click a task to update the task or edit the task, and also I can add a new task from this pop-up modal that we have here. And we have our today page, calendar, a beautiful calendar with where we can sort our task with, like, in month, week, day, or the agenda you have for this month. So at the same time, we have our sticky wall. So it is our sticky wall where you can edit the sticky wall and even create a new sticky note self. So at the same time, we filter our tasks with categories. So in this category, this is the uncompleted task in this category, and this is the all task in this category. So if I check a box and click on all, I will see it, and if I want to see uncompleted, I will also see it as well. So not only that, we have our tags too. We filter with tags. So these are the tag here. So if I click on Python, I have no tasks under this. On coding, these are the tasks I have under this part. And also you can add a new tag. If I want to add a new tag, let's say YouTube, and click on this, it will create a new tag for me. Under this, I have no task yet. So not only that, we have our login page where user can log in. We have the sign up page and the login page. So this is going to be a very beautiful project, and it's going to be very interesting. So stay with me to the end, and make sure you like this video and subscribe to this channel. Thank you. So I'm going to start this project by creating a React app. So go to any location, create a folder in any location of your choice, and open the folder with your Visual Studio Code or your preferred code editor. So to start our React app, I'm going to run the command npx create react app, and the name of our app, let's give it task manager. So our React app is currently creating. So it's telling us need to install following packages. I'll press Y to proceed. So our React app is currently installing, so we are going to give it some time now so that I can install. So our React app has already been successfully installed and created. So now what we just need to do now is just to cd into the task manager folder. Then after entering that, we'll run our npm start. So npm start. So our app is currently loading. So now we should have the React welcome page pop up. Our React is already compiled successfully, webback compiled successfully. So if I go back, if I click on this URL, and I'm redirected to this React test page or React demo page that is already showing us now. So now this shows that we have successfully installed React. So now let's get started with our configuration now. Visual Studio Code now. Let's see our app. So this is our task manager app that we created, and inside we have this public folder and we have this source folder. But there are some things that we do not need, that we need to get rid of. If I go into this index.js, so although this is already set for us, but there are some things that we don't actually need. For example, this index.css, this app test, this logo, this report writer, and this, we don't need them, so I'm going to delete them. So, and after that, I'm just going to leave in my source, I'm going to leave this index.js and app.js, just what we actually need. This app.css, we don't need it as well. So it's just for, all these things are just for the React demo page. And also in my public folder, so the only thing I need here is just this index.html, because React only uses only one page to render all what we are doing. So I'm going to remove all this logo and this icon as well. So I'm going to delete them. So, and I'll delete that. So now what we are just left with is just this, our index.html and our source index.js. So now let's just write a simple code. Now this is using a function based React code. So but before we continue, I want you to go into your extension and download React ES7 extension from your extension. So this ES7 plus, so that we can use React syntax like arrow function. So if you have done that, in this app.js now, I'm going to remove all what we have here, and I'll write the arrow function by writing this abbreviation RAFCE. So now I have this. So here I'll just say hello world in this place, hello world, just for a test page. And in this index.js, we don't have this again, so I'm going to delete it. We have deleted the CSS file. So this app is imported from this, so import app from ./app. So this report vital, we are not using it as well, so I'm going to remove this too. So if I remove this and save everything, so now if I go back to my browser, so now I'm back in my browser and we have this hello world displayed. So that React demo page is gone because of all those deleted. We've deleted all those files that's like constitute that React test page. So now let's get straight into our project in proper. The first thing we want to do now is that we want to change the font family of our project. So we are going to be using Google Fonts. So I'll just go to my browser and go to Google Fonts. So if I go back to this, I'll go to my Google Fonts. Now here I'm going to pick a font that I'm just going to pick a very simple font that we are going to use for our project. So that will be the theme font, or the overall fonts of our project. So it's already loading. I'm going to give it a minute. Yeah. So I'm just going to pick this first one, Roboto. So it's loading. So this is how it looks like. It's very simple, and I like it. So I'm just going to click on get fonts. So I'll click on this get embedded code. So let's click on this get embedded code. Let me remove this, sorry. So here I'll copy this link, copy this, and I'll go back to my code now, to my Visual Studio Code. So in this public folder, in this index.html, so I'll just put it here before this link. I'll paste my link here, and after that I want to write a basic style, and I'll close my tag style, while inside is going to be, so since we want it to affect everything, so I'm just going to pick everything like that with the asterisk. Then the font family, the font family is going to be, let's go and check it from the browser, from the Google font. So the font family is going to be this Nonito sans serif. So I'm going to copy it and come back here and paste it there. So let's remove one of this. Then after that, I will give margin to be 0. So if I save this and then go back to the browser, let's go back to our React app and refreshing. So now, as you can see, the font has changed. So now let's get back to the code and start coding back. So now I'm back in my code now, so we are done with this. So the next thing I want to do now, in this project, I don't want to use plain CSS, I want to use SCSS. So we have to install that. So to install it, I'm just going to create a new terminal. Like, I don't want to close this terminal that is running, so I just create a new terminal now. So here I'll cd into my task manager again. So if I've entered the task manager, I'm now going to install npm install Sass, so that we can be able to use SCSS. So npm install Sass. So, and I'll install it. So it's currently installing, as we can see. So npm has successfully been installed now. So if I go back to this, so now let's start with the first component that we want to have. So now we want to create a task management app, and as you can see from the thumbnail of this video, we have Sidebar and we have some other components too. So now I'll close this, and I'm going to close this. I'll close this as well. So in this my source, I'll create a new folder. I'll call it component, my component directory. And also in this source also, I'm going to create another folder, and I'll call it the pages, for the pages too. So now the components are, we are going to store the part of the website or the front end that we are going to use in many pages, because sidebar is a component that we are still going to use in our own page, in our today page, calendar page, and so many pages. So that's why I create this component and we have these pages. So in this my new component, the first component we are going to have is, I'll create a new folder again, and it's sidebar. While inside this sidebar, we are going to have two files. The first one, the JSX file, sidebar.jsx, and also we are going to have a new file as well, which is the sidebar.scss. So for the Sass. Now, in these pages, we are going to have our home page. So the home page, while inside this home page, the same way we are going to have the JSX file home.jsx, and also we are going to have also home.scss. So this is our project structure. So in this, let's remove this first. Let's start with this home.jsx. So in this home.jsx now, so what we did before, we are going to write the arrow command, RAFCE, and it's going to write our React home function for us. So we have what? Inside this, we have this home written there, or let's say welcome to the home page. So here we have what? The welcome to the home page, and also let us import our home.scss into this home.jss, our scss file. So I'm just going to run import ./home.scss. So now I'm saying this dot means the current directory, the home css and the home jx are in the same folder. So like this, if I click this, I'll be linked to this. So now we have linked our scss file into this our home.jsx file. So now what can we do now? So let's pass this home.jsx into this our app.js. Instead of having this hello world directly in this our app.js, I'm just going to import, well, let me remove this. I'm going to remove this, and inside I'll just write home like this. So now you see it has successfully import this home from pages/home/home. So now if you go back to our browser now, we are not going to have the normal hello world that we have there. So now we are going to have welcome to our home page. So let's check. If I refresh this, we should have welcome to the home page. So all this work perfectly okay. Now let's start with our sidebar component. So here I'll go back to my sidebar. So our home is just going to, our app.js is going to be like this, and in this home.jx, let's leave it as this first. So I'm going to open my sidebar.jsx here. So in my sidebar.jsx, the same way we are going to write our arrow function. Sorry, let me go back to my sidebar. So write our arrow function with this. So now we already have this, right? So now what are we going to have in our sidebar? So let's just work with the architecture first. So in this our sidebar, first we are going to divide our sidebar into three sections. The top section. So I'm going to say div.top. I'll create a div for that. The center, div.center. Then also the bottom, div.bottom, this way. Now in our top section, we are going to have menu. So I'll say div.menu, and inside this menu we are going to have, let's say, span. Let me say span dot let's call it menu title, like this. Now, and inside this span we are going to have menu like this. Now aside from that, let's say after that we are going to, on this top section again, we are going to have our search. So I'll say div.search. Now inside this our search, we are going to have our input, and it's going to be input type is going to be text, and the placeholder, we are going to give it a placeholder, which is going to be, the placeholder is going to be search, like this. Now after that, I think that is all for our top section. In our center, In our center, that means the center of the sidebar, we are going to have a list. So let me say a UL, a list like this, and a p tag, and this is going to be for the tasks. Don't worry, I'm still going to show you how everything will look like very soon. And the class name here is going to be title, like this. Now after that, I'll have my li, and inside this my li, I'm going to have a span, and inside this span, the first one is going to be upcoming, like this. Then we are also going to have another list, which is going to be li again. Now this one is going to be span as well, and it's going to be today. So let's just copy this. So after that, we are going to have like two more, so I'm going to paste this two more. So after upcoming today, we are going to have our calendar. This place should be our calendar, and here is going to be the sticky wall. Let's say the sticky wall, like that. Now after this list, we are still going to have another list in this center again. So first I'm going to call this p, let's say p dot title again. So here is going to be list, or let's say in another word, let's say category. So here we are going to have the category, and in the same way we are going to have a list. So I'll bring this ul, and inside the list we are going to have some list again, li. Now inside the first one, we are going to have a span, and it's going to be, let's say, personal. Now this list, they are going to have a color, so I'll just open a div there, and I'll call it div dot color, like this. I'll just leave it the way it is, like this. So I'm going to copy this and paste it 3 times, because we are going to have 3 categories, and after personal we are going to have work, and we are going to have others, like this, others. Don't worry, when we start this designing part, we are going to see how everything is going to come out. So aside that, so that will be the end of this part. Now inside the center again, we are going to have some tags. So in the same way, I'll say so here, let me come back here, I'm sorry. I'll say p dot title is going to be tags for the tag section of our sidebar, and here we are going to have a div. So I'll say div dot tags, like this. Now inside the tags, we are going to have another div, and it's going to be tag, and also we are going to have another one there, add tag, like this. So we are going to give it 2 class names, so tag and add tag. While inside that, we are going to have a input, and it's going to be text, and the placeholder, we are going to give it a placeholder. The placeholder is going to be new tag name, like that, name. So after that, okay, everything is already closed. So we'll go to our bottom section of our sidebar. So in this bottom section, we are going to have a list as well, and inside this list, so li again, so we are going to have a span, and in this span we are going to have sign out, and that will be all for our bottom section. So that's just what we have in our bottom section. So now let's see how it will display in our home page. What we have here, the architecture, the HTML architecture of our sidebar. Let's see how it will look like in our home page. So you know how this works. So this is a component. Where is it? We are going to pass it into our home page. So I'm going to go back to this home.jsx. So instead of just having welcome to home page, I'm going to pass in that component, our sidebar component here. So here I'm just going to say sidebar. So as a tag like this, sidebar, and it's going to import it, as you see. So if it does not import it, please import it up here. So we are going to say import sidebar from the, like, dot means the preceding directory. So we go 2 directories to the back and enter the component and enter the sidebar folder. Then we are going to import the sidebar component as we have like this. So here, so now let's just go back to our browser and see what we have there. So now see how what we just did. See the architecture of our sidebar. So now we have this menu, we have this search, we have task, and these are the upcoming tasks. We have categories. So these are what we have in the categories. We have tags and we have our sign out. So now let's start designing them now. Before we design, let's go back to our codes to change something. So here we are having this UL couple of times in which we don't actually need it. Let me remove this. So here, okay, here I'm going to remove this UL. So I remove this. We just need one overall list. So I'll remove this as well. Sorry. So the ending parts of this, okay, let's say it will definitely end here. Let me put the UL back here. So we only have one list, in which inside this one list we have this task, this first part, and we have these categories, and we have, okay, that's just the two things we have under that list. Now the next thing we want to do is to let's go back to the browser first. So if I come back here, so now I want to add some icons here. So in this menu I want to have a menu icon. In this upcoming I want to have something like a next and a calendar icon, a sticky wall icon, like a sign out icon. So to do that, I'm going to use an external library or an external component which is called material UI. So here in my browser here, I'll just create a new tab and look for and search material UI. So here, if I enter this material UI, it offers different icons that we can use and also a different material design for our webs or for our React app. But actually what we came here for is just icons, right? So we came here for the icons, but before we get all those icons, we have to install material UI into our React app. So let's see the documentation on how to install material UI. So if I come here in our documentation, let's go to installation here. So the first thing we need to do, we have to install the default installation. So I'm going to copy this and install it in my React app. So after copying this, I'll go back to my React app, and here I'll create a new terminal and paste it here. So if I install this, so it's currently installing, as you can see. So it's installing. So that is currently installed. So we have installed that, and this is it here. So now, not only that, we have just, the first thing we did here is just install material UI. Now we have to install material UI icons. So to do that, I'm going to go back to the browser again, and in this part, if we go down here, you are going to see icons. So to install the icon material, I'll copy this again and go back to my code, and I'll paste it here. So to install the icon materials, so it's currently installing. So our icon has already been installed, as you can see. So I can go back to this my node app. So this is our server terminal, is still running. I just created this terminal just for anything that we want to install, so I don't want to close this. So now what do we want to do? Let's go back to the browser. Let's go to the material UI website to see the icons that we actually need for our React app. So if I come here first, in this place, in this menu, I want a menu icon here, and in this upcoming here calendar, there will be an icon here, there will be like a note icon here, and there will be an icon here as well. So let's see what we need. The first one is this menu icon. So let's go back to this material UI and go to let me just search icon in this place. I'll say icon. Here I want to search, I'll just search material icons, so like something like this. So it's already bringing material icons for me. I'll click that. So it's loading here, and these are the icons here. So we have different icons. So what we just need to do is just search what we are looking for. So let's search the first one, the menu icon. So I'm going to search its menu icon. Okay, menu, I have this. So if I click on it, it will show us how to use it. So import menu icons from at material UI slash menu. So if I click to copy this and go back to my code, that if I go back to my code here and inside here, I'll just paste the code that we import. So import menu icon, and in this menu I'm going to pass it here, the menu icon, as like a tag like this. So menu icon, and close the tag. So if I save this, it's already compiling and it's compiled successfully. So going back to the browser and coming back to our React app, refreshing this, we should have the menu icon displayed here. It's already displayed, as we can see. So this is the menu icon from the material UI. So let's do that. Let's do it for the remaining ones for this upcoming today, calendar, and sticky wall. Let's add all the icons that we need. So for this upcoming, I need something like a navigation. So something like navigate. Let me just show you, like navigate. So navigate next. I want to use this for my upcoming. So navigate next like this. So this is how to import it. And for the today, I'm going to use let's say a checklist like this for the today, something like this. And also for my calendar, I'll use calendar, but the calendar month outlines, this one, no, not this, calendar month outlined. Let's see. So yeah, is this also, let me zoom my browser very well. So what I need is this calendar month. So this is the field one. I can choose the outlined if I want the outlined. So if I want the outline, this is how it looks like. If I want rounded, you can choose any one you want. You just specify it in the code. So the one I actually need is this outline. So calendar month outline. So let's just add everything into our codes. So here I'm going to go back to my codes now. And also before going, I'll also use search icon. Let me show you the search icon that I want to use. So if I search here, so I need search outlined like this one, search outline like this. So let's just see how we can use all of them in our codes. So here I'm going to go back to my code now, and in this search I'm going to input another icon here. So I'll call it the search outline. If you have installed it, search outlined like this, search outline, and it's going to be a self-closing tag. And here I'm going to say import like this, search outline from at MUI/icon material like this, and I'm going to save it. So it's already compiled. So at the same time, let's add the remaining ones before we go to the browser. So after that, I'm going to put this part in this upcoming. So we are going to add an icon there, and the name of the icon is going to be navigate next like this, navigate next. And you see it's already showing me that do I want this. So from icon material, I'm just going to click it and then close the tag. So with that, it's going to import it here. Do you see it here? So if it did not import it, just add it here. So this menu icon material also, this menu icon, I can just copy it and paste it here so that we don't need to be importing all those icons one by one. So let's remove this. So everything is working as it should. So this navigate next, we want to give it a class name. So I'm going to give it a class name. Class name. This is how we give class name in React. So I'll give it class name icon like that. So also in this today, what do we need in today? We need a checklist. So a checklist. So I'm going to import this checklist for material UI like this as well. So it's already working. And also here I'm going to give it a class name, and it's going to be icon in the same way. So for calendar, For this calendar, we are going to use calendar month outlined, calendar month outlined, and it's going to have a self-closing tag like this. So we're having an error. So let me see, it's compiling, but I think we're having one error. So it's telling us fail to compile. Let's go to the browser and check what the problem is. So let me refresh this. So okay, menu icon imported as menu icon was not found. Okay, so let's solve that. I think that menu icon is given, so I'll say instead of I'll say import menu. Let's use menu like this and change this back to menu like this and save and see if it will work. So as it compiled, okay, it's compiling again, and let's wait, let's give it a couple of seconds. Okay, it's compiled successfully. So if I go back to the browser and refresh, it's loading, it's currently loading. Yes, so the icons have been displayed. So we have this menu, we have this search, we have this upcoming, we have this like this icon here, we have this icon here. So the next icon we need to add is this sticky wall. So let's do that now. So for this sticky wall, the icon that we are going to use is going to be a sticky note. So I'll go back to my code now, and here, sorry, we don't need this now, let me remove this. So let me reduce this terminal as well. So in this place, where is our sticky wall here? So we are going to add a sticky note as an icon inside. So sticky note 2, exactly. So that is what we want to use. So in the same way, let's give it the class name, and it's going to be icon. So we have added that. So let's see what we have in our browser. So exactly, we have this sticky note. So these are just the icons. So in this category, we don't want to add icon, we want to add like a small rectangle with different color like blue, red, and yellow. It's just going to be a small rectangle in that. So let's see how that will work out. So I'm going to go back to the codes now. So here in this part, this personal and work and others, in the category part, so okay, we already had it here, div class name color, div class name color. So the only thing that we need is this bottom. In this sign out, let's add an icon there, a sign out icon. So it's going to be a log out. So I'll just say log out like this. It's going to give me the icon. So log out from material UI. So I'm going to press enter and give it the class name as well. So the class name is going to be icon, and close our tag like this. Okay, it's going to be a self-closing tag. So let's remove this. So everything is working well. So let's go to the browser and see. The next thing we want to, after going to the browser now, the next thing we want to do is this design part to make everything look good. So let's just see what we have in our browser. So this is what we have now. So every tags is already there. So now let's go into our SCSS, our design. So we should write the Sass for this design and make it look good. So let's see, and let's do that now. Now to start this design parts, the first thing, let's give this parent div a class name. So I'm going to give it a class name, and the class name is going to be sidebar like this. So after that, so here now I'm going to go back to my sidebar.scss. So I'm just going to search it from here. So sidebar.scss, so we are already there. So the first sidebar, I'm going to call that class name of that sidebar. Then I'll give it flex to be 1, and after that we are going to give it a background color. So a background color which is going to be this color, hashtag F4 sorry, F4 like this. And after that we are going to have, then after that we are going to give it a mean height of 100 VH, and also color, and the color is going to be hashtag 333 like this. then we are going to give it a padding of like 10 pixel, 10 pixel, 5 pixel. So let's see what we've done. So let's see what we have done. So I'm going to go back to the browser to see what we've done, and I'll refresh it. So nothing changes. Let's see what's going on. Maybe we have not, okay, we have not actually linked our CSS, this sidebar CSS, into this React component. So to link that, I'm just going to say import the same, in the same directory. I'll just say sidebar.scss. So with this, we have imported like this sidebar file into this React component. So to see, now I'm going to go back to the codes now to see what is going on, to see if anything has changed. So here, if I refresh this, it's currently loading. Now we have this. So you see the background color, if you can look closely, the background color has changed, and the padding, some little adjustment has been made. So let's continue. So now I'm going to go back to the code now, and I'll go back to this sidebar.scss. So inside this sidebar curly braces, so you know it's the parent div that is holding everything. So I'm going to enter this top div. So to see what we are actually doing, let me split my script like this. Yes, so here is going to be sidebar.scss, and here is going to be our components. So I will close this. So now we have done with this sidebar, this one, that's what we have here. So now I want to go into this top. So one major characteristics of Sass is nesting. So we can make our SCSS code or our CSS code look like the way our HTML code looks like. So the way the divs are arranged and everything. So this is what I'm saying. You know, this top div is inside this sidebar. So in the same way, I can do it like this in Sass. So although this is not a majorly a beginner's tutorial, so I'm just going to follow along with the project so you can learn more on Sass at your own leisure time. So let's continue. So in this top, I'm going to give this top part now a height of 70 pixel. So 70 pixel. Then we are going to give padding of 10 pixel, and inside this top, now I'm going into this menu now. So I'm going to say I'm going to say dot menu. So dot menu, and inside this menu, display flex, and also we are going to give justify content, and it's going to be space between. Now the space between is for the search bar component, the menu and the menu icon. So, and we are going to align item center, and also we are going to give it a padding of 5 pixel. So now inside the menu title, this span, now I'm going to say I didn't name this well, menu, right? So here inside here dot menu hyphen title, make sure you name your classes well. So inside this menu title, there I'm going to have, now we're going to have a font size of 20 pixel, and also a font weight which is going to be bold, and a color, and our color is going to be this color 444, hashtag 444, a dark gray. So with this, we are done with this top section. If you look at it, so these are all the items in the top. We have menu, so this is it here. We have this search also. Okay, we still have this search in this top, so let's work on that. But before we work on that, let's see how what we've done. Let's go to the browser and check how it looks. So this is what we currently have now. So we have this now. So let's continue with the code. It's already going. So let's work with this search now. So I'm going to go back to the code now, and here after this, so we are done with, in this menu we have this span and we have this, right? So now I want to go into the search now. So I'll come here after this, the search is outside this menu div. So I'll come down here and go search like this. Then also it's going to be display flex as well. also is going to be display flex as well, and also we are going to have align items center, and border is going to be 1 pixel solid, this color hashtag ccc like this, and we are going to have border radius of 5 pixel and also padding of 6 pixel, while we are also going to have background color of hashtag f4 like that. Now inside the search also we are going to have, now we are talking about these inputs now, so here we are going to have inputs, and inside this inputs no border none, and outline should be none as well. Then we are going to give background color to be transparent, and the color is going to be hashtag this color, darker, just like a dark black or a dark gray. Now inside also we want to give it a placeholder. For the placeholder, which is like the attribute, so to access that I'm going to have like this, so the placeholder now is, so it's just like the placeholder, the font size of the placeholder now is going to be 12 pixel, and the color is going to be this color, hashtag 777 like this. Now let's see what we have now. So I'm going to go back to the browser and refresh. It's currently loading. Now this is what we have. So this is what we have. Now the reason why we are having it is taking the whole space like this is because we have not actually configured the home page very well. You know, this is a component, the sidebar component, and also we have our home page, like the page actually. So the page is going to be the one that will take the overall div. So this is what I'm showing. Let me show you what I'm saying in essence. So now I'm going to go back to the code. Now here I will open my home.jsx and my home. Okay, we already have this in our home.jss, right? So in this home.jss, in this, you know, this is the div and these are sidebar components. So this is going to be the one that will have the parent div, that is going to be the whole, like the container, and it's going to be display flex as well. So what we have to do is that here I'll give it a class name, and the class name is going to be home, and also here before this, after this sidebar, I'm going to have like a container. So div.home, I'll call it home container, and we are going to have this inside. So let's just put, I'll put something like home. Let's just put this there like this. So now let's open our home.scss. So home.scss. So inside this home.scss, you know, we've created the file before. So I'm going to say .home, and it's going to be display flex, and then I will access the home container, and I'm going to say flex 6 like this. So now if you go back to the code now, you see it's going to have, like, it's going to arrange our, like, our UI very well. So let's see. So look at what we have now. So with this we have solved that problem of this being taking over the whole page. So now this is our sidebar, we have our sidebar components here, and these are home, the whole page component, or the whole page like this. So let's continue with our design. Now let's make some slight changes. So I'll go to the code. So here let's just give a background color, I'm going to paste the color here. So, and also I'll give a padding of like let's say 10 pixel from the top and 20 pixel from the right like this. So with that, I'll close this. We'll come back to it later. I'll close this. Let's go back to our sidebar components that we have. So now the next thing I want to do is okay, so now we are done with the search, right? We are done with the search part. So now let's undo the center. So you know we are done with this top, so I'm going to go back to the center. I'm going to go back like to this sidebar, like the sidebar div. So now we want to work on the center now. So here I'll just say dot center, like get the center. Now in the center we have our list and we have LIs and other stuffs in there. So now the first one, I'm going to give list style to be none, and also we are going to give margin to be 0, margin to be 0 and padding to be 0. Now inside we are now going to get, after this where is it called, where is the center, we have this UI, and we want to get this title, this class name that is a title. So then I'll say dot title. Now the font size is going to be 12 pixel and font weight is going to be bold, the color is going to be hashtag 666 like this, and also we are going to have margin top to be 15 pixel now, and also margin bottom to be 5 pixel, 5 pixel. Now inside I'll come out now to get our li for the list. Each list is going to be display flex and align items center, and just padding is going to be 8 pixel. The cursor is going to be pointer, cursor is pointer, and also we are going to have border radius to be 5 pixel. Then position should be relative, and for the transition, let's just give it a small transition. So we are going to have a transition which is going to be background 0.3 seconds is like that. So background, there should be background, then 0.3 seconds is. Now let's see what we have actually. So if I come here, our React app is loading. So yes, we have this. So what we are actually working on is this center. Now the list style is gone, so let's continue. It's already looking good. Let's continue with the project. So if I go back to the code, now after this li, we want to work on the counter. If you look at it, okay, we've not added that here, so let's add that now. The counter, let's add the counters. So in this upcoming year, I'm just going to have a div. I'll say div dot counter like this, and let's give the number, let's say 5, and I'll copy this and paste it in our today, and also in our personal here. I'll paste it here and also paste it here and also paste it here as well. So let's just work, let's give them different values. So here is 5, let's give this like 4, this like 10, and let's give this like 8. Yeah, I think it's okay like that. So now the next thing we want to do is the CSS. So I'll come here inside this li, they are inside the li tag. So I'll go to the counter. I'm going to call the dot counter, so here I'm going to call the dot counter like this, and inside the dot counter the display is going to be flex as well. Then we are going to justify contents center and also align items center as well, and width is going to be 20 pixel, and we are going to have height of 15 pixel. Then border radius is going to be 5 pixel. Also we are going to have background color. So the background color is going to be, let's say the background color is going to be RGB 230, this color 226 and 226 again. Then after that we are going to have a color, and it's going to be hashtag 333 like this. So let me close this. So then after the color we're going to have a font size of 10 pixel and a font weight is going to be bold, and also margin left auto. So this margin left is you're going to push it to the right, to the end of the div. So let's see what we have now. So I'm going to go back to the browser. Now these are the counters. Now if I refresh this, they should, so these are the counters. So upcoming we have like 5, today like 4 tasks, and personal work and others. So let's still continue, we are not done yet. So I'm going to go back to the code. So after this counter, the next thing we want to do is like when it is hovered. So and how can we do that? When this header is hovered, I'm just going to say and hover like this. Then inside we are going to give a background color, and the color is going to be hashtag E0E0E0 like that. Now after that I'm going to come back and undo the each icon. No, now we have done, like we have picked the li, we have picked, okay, let's look at this place now. Let's say from here we have talked about the span. Actually we've not talked about the span, we've only talked about this counter. Now let's talk about this icon next. So to get the icon, so here I'm going to say dot icon, then inside let's give the icon a font size of 18 pixel and a color. The color is going to be hashtag 555 like that. Now after that let's talk about this div.color, this color that we have here. So I'm just going to come out here and say dot color, and the color we are going to have a height of 18 pixels, a width also of 18 pixels. We want a perfect square. Then we are going to have a border radius of like 3 pixel, and also border is going to be none like that. Now after that let's handle the span, each span, like this span that we have here. So I'm going to come out of this color and I'll call the span. The span is, we are going to handle the tag. We don't have, it's not like a class name, so I don't put dot span. Take note of that. So this span, the font size is going to be also 14 pixel. Now the font weight is going to be bold, and also we are going to give you the color, and the color is going to be hashtag 444 like that. And also what else, let's give the margin left, to the left is going to be 10 pixels. Now if you save this and look at what we have, let's look at it and let's refresh this and see what we have. So look at it, if you hover it's already working. We have this search here, and if you hover it is currently making sense. Now the color, we've worked on it but it's not showing. Why? Let's look at it. But we have a small issue. Like look at this title, this task and these tags, they are already, like, they looked okay, but this category is like this, the styling is not affecting this category. Let's see what's going on. So I'm going to go back to my, let's go back to the code. So here let's see, in this place for this category, okay, I didn't spell it well, sorry, it's going to be title, it's supposed to be title like this. And also in this place, this is supposed to be our UL, sorry, not the center. So here it should be the UL tag. So, and I will close it at the end of this place and I'll save this. Then aside from that, this center, let's give it padding left of like 10 pixel. So let's see, what do we have now? So I'm going to go back to the codes now. Yes, so it's already okay. So you know, before it was like moved to the right, like it was around here, but now it's already centered properly. Now I said this next thing we want to actually work on is this our, what's it called, the colors that we have here. The thing actually is that this is going to be a different color, like a green, a red, and a yellow, something like that. But if you put the background color here, if I just, sorry, let me come to this span, div this the color. If I just give background color, let me show you what's happening. Let's say background color red, everything will display red. Let's refresh this. So everything's going to display red, so like this. But I want to give it different colors, like this should be a different color, this should be a different color, and also this should be a different color. So to do that, I'm going to use align css. So I'll comment this out. So in this div.color, where is it? Where is the div.color? Okay, from here I'm going to use an inline css. I'll say style and a double like this, sorry. Then I'll give background color. Background color is going to be, I'll paste it here. So this is going to be the color. Sorry, let me see my clipboard. So the first color is going to be this that we have here. Now I'll copy this as well and paste it in the other three. Sorry, so let's copy this. I'll paste it here as well and paste it also here. So here I'll change the color. This is going to be, sorry, so this is going to be this B here, and this is going to be this color. So just pause the video and write exactly what you see. So with that, if I save this and go back to the codes now, sorry, and go back to the browser to see, so I refresh, so we have this different color. This like a normal, like a dark red, a blue, and like a golden yellow. So everything is already looking okay. So the next thing I want us to work on actually is, okay, now task category, this tag also. So the reason why we're having this is that this tag is outside this UL. So it's outside this UL tag. So what we just need to do is that I'll go back to the code now. So I'll copy exactly, let me show you what I'm saying here. So look at this class name of that tag. Where is it? Sorry. Okay, look at it. This class name title tags is outside this UL tag, and the title that we have here is inside this UL. So we can just solve this problem by just copying this title tag and pasting it outside that UL tag also. So I'll say I'll paste it outside here. I'll paste it, sorry, I'll paste it here like this. So with this I'll save. So if you go back, you see it's already like tags, is already styled. So let's continue. So now the thing we need to do, let me copy this. It's not going to be, it doesn't need to be outside, like this the actual place supposed to be, because it's inside this center tag, inside that center div. So let me just save this. So now the next thing we want to work on is our tag. So if I come back here after this the title tags and this div class tag, I'm going to have another div here. So I'll say div dot tag, and inside this div I'm going to have like span, and inside this span I can just say tag 1 like this. And if I copy this like 1, I can also have another one. I'll say tag 2 like that. The next thing we want to do is to come back to this CSS. So after this title, then I'm going to have, after this I'm going to have like dot tags like this. So this tag div, that's what we want to start the styling now. So here is going to be display flex as well, and we are going to have flex wrap, and it's going to be wrap so that it will not overflow, it should come down. And also we are going to give it a gap of 8 pixel, and also margin top of like 5 pixel. Now after that we are also going to have tag. Inside we have like tag and we are going to say dot tag, so dot tag is going to be position, is going to be relative, and also background color. Let's just give the background color here, and it's going to be hashtag F3F3F3 like that. Then color is going to be hashtag 33, and also we are going to give it a padding of 6 pixel, 12 pixel, and a border radius, a border radius of 5 pixel, and also a font size of 12 pixel, while we are going to have a font weight of 600, and also cursor is going to be pointer, while we are going to have like a transition. Let's give the transition of like background, and it's going to be 0.3 seconds. 0.3 seconds is like that. Now let's see what we have actually. So now I'm going to go back to the browser, and here exactly, so these are the tags here. We have tag 1 and tag 2. So let's give these tags background color, inline background color. So if I go back to the code here, I'm going to come like this tag that we have here. I'll say, let's give it a style. So inside the style, I'll say background color. Let's give the first one like blue, and I'll copy this, and paste it here as well in the second div. So background color, let's say yellow, or let's say red. And this pan, let's give this pan a style as well. But here instead of background color, it's just going to be color, and the color is going to be white. So I'll copy this and paste, and paste it. No, don't let me copy like that. Let me just copy this style and paste it in the second style, in the second span, and paste it here like this. So with this, if I go back to our code and refresh, so this is what we have. Let me refresh in. So we have this tag. Okay, something is not right. So let me check what have we done wrong. So here background color is blue. Sorry, I shouldn't paste this here. So style, and here let me paste it here, color white like this. So this red is too shiny, let's just give it like a green like that. So with this, if I come back here and refresh, let's see what we have. So we have this is beautiful. Okay, now the next thing we want to work on now is this bottom. So we are done with our top, we are done with our center. This is the center to this tag. So let's work on this new tag name and this sign out that we have here. So now the next thing we want to do is, let's just make this better. So this style input type, so I'm going to use inline CSS for this. So you know how we do that. I'll write my style, and inside we are going to have, the first thing we are going to have is border is going to be none like that. Then we are going to have also background is going to be transparent, and also we are also going to have what's it called, outline, and it's going to be none as well. So let's leave it like this. So we have border none, background transparent, outline none. Then also we are going to give it a width of like 80%. Let's say 80%, and also color is going to be hashtag 333 like that. So after that, so let me put this in like in a quotation like that. So now after that, we are going to give it also, we are also going to have like a add icon. So to import that from material UI, I'll just say add. So it's going to import it from material UI like this, and I'll put it like that. So in this add now, you see if you come up here, it will add, you see, so it has imported this add from like material UI up here. So if I come down here, let's give this also a basic styling. So I'll give a style like this, and inside we are going to have like font size, and the font size is going to be, let's say, 18 pixel, while the cursor is going to be pointer. So if we save this and go back to the browser, if we refresh this, so this is what we have here. So it's working. So here is for the adding the tag. So if I say tag 3 and click this, although we are not working with, we are just working with the design yet. So in the next tutorial, I'll work on how to like make this work well. So now the main one thing that we have not worked on is the bottom, this sign out, which is at the bottom. So here I'm just going to go back to my code as well. So in this place, so here we are going to have, after everything, like almost everything, so we are going to have dots bottom like that, and inside the bottom we are also going to have, now inside the bottom we are going to have a padding left of like, sorry, padding left, let me remove this, sorry. So here we are going to have like padding left, and it's going to be 10 pixel. Now what we need to do also is I'll copy all this UL and LI, because it's basically the same thing, up to this icon, up to this pan rather, but I will remove some things. So up to this pan, and I will just copy it like this. Sorry, let me see very well. So I'll copy it to this point and just paste it here inside this button. But what we don't need this color, so I'll remove it. So and save this. So if I save this, because they are actually basically the same thing. So if I save this and go back to the browser, and if I refresh, so let's just make some, but one thing is that I noticed that these things are also very bold. So let's just correct that. So if I come back to my code here, so instead of font weight bold, let's give it like 600. And also we don't need this counter, we don't have counter in our bottom. You know, this bottom, this is just what we have, this UL, we have this LI, and we have like logout. So we don't need this counter, and we don't need this title, we don't need it as well. So I'll save this. And also if you come up here, this pan of this one too, let's remove it from bold and give it like 600 like this. So if I go back to the browser now, and see what we have, so now this is it. So with this we are done with the design part of our sidebar component. So we can just give small, like a few break tags here, so that these signers can come down a little bit. So let's just give that. So in this part I can just give like few break tag. Let's see if this would work. And if I refresh this, okay, yes, this works. So we have this sign out, so it's already okay. So these are top, these are center, and these are bottom. So we are done with our sidebar components. So now the next thing we want to do is the page. Let's work on our upcoming page. So let's get started with that. Now let's start working with our home components. Since we have finished our sidebar components and it's already okay, we've done everything we need to do. So now I'm going to go back to my code now to start with our home components. So here in this home, I'm going to remove this. So here in this our home page, let me go back to my, let me show you something first. So here I'm going to have like a top section and also a bottom section, and in the bottom section we are going to divide into two. So it's going to have like a div here and a div here and a top div here. So here is going to be like today, tomorrow, and this week. So let me show you what I want to do. So I'll go back to my codes now. So now here in this div home container, before all those top section, I'm going to have a first div which is going to be upcoming title. So I'll call this upcoming title. So inside I'm going to have a p tag, and inside the p tag I'll have something like upcoming, and also I'm going to have like a span, and this span is just like for counts, for the upcoming counts, like 12. So then I'm now going to have that top section that I told you, div top and also div bottom, like this. So inside my div bottom I'm going to have my div right and also div left, like this. So I'm going to have these two sections in my div. So I'm going to have top, bottom. So let's rename this here. Let's just say div home top, like this, and here should be home bottom. Home bottom. So after that, and let's give this one home right and home left. Okay, left and right. So let me cut this. I'm just going to I want to rearrange it very well. Sorry. So I'll cut this and paste it here. So the left before the right. So I'm going to paste it here. Or let me just rewrite it, div dot home right, like this. Remove this. So I'm going to have like div dot home right, like this here. So and here let's rename it to be home left. So now after this, let's go to our home.scss. So here inside this home container, I have like inside this home container I have this upcoming title and this upcoming. So let's just start that quickly. So if I come here, I'm just going to say dot, is a class upcoming title. So inside this upcoming title, the first thing is display flex, and also after we are going to align items center, and it's going to be center. Then padding is going to be 10 pixels. Then after that, let's get the p tag. So in the p tag, the font size is going to be like, let's say 40 pixels, and also font weight is bold, and then we are going to give it this color, which is hashtag 2c2c, like that, something like that. So now let's work with the span. So in the span, I'm going to have like a height of like 35 pixels, and also a width of 55 pixels. Then the background color is going to be what color should we use? Okay, hashtag F0F0F0, something like that. Then we are going to give it the border, which is going to be 1 pixel solid, hashtag E6, this color that we have here. Then we are going to give the border radius. So let's say border radius of about 5 pixels, and also this should be display flex as well. Then align items center, so to be perfectly centered, the text inside this panel should be perfectly centered. Then also justify content center, while we are going to give it margin left. Let's give it margin left, which is going to be, let's say, 20 pixels. And also we are going to give it font weight here should be normal, and font size of 30 pixels. So 30 pixels. Then if I save this and go back to our browser, so I'm going to save this now and go back to our browser to see what we have done actually. So if I come down here, so we have this, I will refresh this. So we have this upcoming, but very soon we are going, exactly, it's now very, so look at what we have here, upcoming. So we are done with the title of this page. This is the upcoming page, and we have this. Okay, here we have 5, so it doesn't matter actually, we are still going to correct this in our Okay, let me just correct it now, shall, although we are still going to correct this when we are doing with the backend. So let me put 5 here. So since we have 5 in our navbar, so then what else do I want to do? So now let's work on our, we are done with this upcoming title, so I'm going to come out of this div. So then the next one we want to work with is the home. So I'll say dot home top like this. So inside this, the padding is going to be 15 pixel. Then home bottom, I want to get the home bottom as well. So inside this home bottom, I'm going to have display flex as well, and also let's say padding should be 20 pixels, 20 pixels, sorry, pixels like this. Then the gap, let's give the gap bit, we have 2 div inside this home bottom, so let's give them gap of about 10 pixels. Then what else should we do? Now let's get the home left and home right. So the home left comma dot home, sorry, the home right. So inside this we are going to have flex to be 1, flex is going to be 1, and also we are going to give a padding of about 15 pixels, sorry, we are going to give a padding of about 15 pixels, while the background color is going to be hashtag FFFFFF like this, 6 Fs actually. Is that 6? I think that's 6. Then border radius is going to be 8 pixels, let's say 8 pixels, and also, alright, I think that's all. So if I save this and go back to the browser once again, so refresh this, if you see, let me refresh it again. Okay, now we should have like a separate div. That means something is not right. I'm going to go back to the codes now. So here we have dot home left and home right. It is spelled correctly here. Then here, okay, look at it here. Home, I didn't write my home very well, so I'm very sure you will not encounter that error if you write it very well. So if I come back and refresh, so you see this left and right and the top. So now that we are done with this, what is going to be inside this div? So now I'm going to create a new component now. So in this top section, there's going to be a component that we are going to pass here today. Now in this bottom section, we are going to pass another component here, which is going to be tomorrow, another component here this week. So that is just going to filter this place is for the today task, like the task you have for today, here the task you have for tomorrow, and here is going to be the task you have for this week actually. So now let me bring this down a little bit. So now here in this my source and in my component, so here I'm going to create a new folder. I'll call it today. So inside this today, I'm going to create a new file, 2 new files actually. The first one, today.jsx, and another one, today.scss. So in my today.jsx, okay, so here remember our arrow command, rfce is going to bring it out, and also imports, let's say ./today.scss. so that's just to import this the Sass file. So if I click it, if it's linked correctly, it should link me to this, so it links to this. So that shows that we have linked this correctly. Now the next thing I want to do, so let me give this a class name. So I'll say class name should be today as well. So inside this, I will remove this today. Then we are going to have like a title. I'll say p.title, which is going to be today. That is going to be today. Then I'll have a list. So so I want to have a list. So ul now, and I'll close my ul tag. So inside this list, I'm going to have like a li, I'll say li. So let me close this li tag. Then after that, inside this li, the first li, let's give it a style. Let's say style, an inline style, which is going to be, let's say we are going to have like a border of like I'll give it, let's say, 1 pixel, sorry, 1 pixel solid, hashtag, let's say e6 like this. Then inside, after that border, okay, now we are going to have like an li, I said li icon. I want to give it like a add icon, just like a plus icon. So for material UI, sorry, I'll say add like this. You see, it's already bringing it for me from MUI icons material, so I'm just going to click it. And okay, wait, first let me, it didn't import it, so I'll say add. Okay, yes, it's imported now. So if yours is not, it does not import it, check here and import it up here. So this is like an icon, an add icon. Then after that, I'll have a span. Sorry, I'm going to have a span, and the span, let's give it a style. So the style is going to be, let's say, here is like margin left, and it's going to be 10 pixels. Now inside this span, I will have like add new task, like that, add new task like this. Then the next thing we want to do, now this is just for the, like, the top section. Then we are going to have another list, so the list of like our task. So let me create another li. So inside this li, I'm going to have like, let's say, inputs, let's say inputs like checkbox. We are going to have an id, so let's just leave it as empty first. Then after that, I'll have like a label, so let's give it a label tag. Then after the label tag, let's give it a style. Okay, no, let's leave the style first, later we'll come back to the style. Then I'm just going to say, okay, the title of our task, let's say finish your backend, just like a task actually, finish your backend project. Sorry, finish your backend project. Then after that, okay, let me just copy this like 1 and paste it like 2, 3, and let's say 4. So just like a 4 task. So now I'm going to pass in this today component into this our home page. So it's going to be at this top section here. So here I'm just going to say today, and it's going to import it, you see, from component slash today. Look at it, from component, import today from like dot the preceding component today and today component. So if I just close this and like save it very well, then going back to my browser, I should have those tags listed. So refreshing this page, it's currently loading. So now, as you can see, so we have all these tasks like this listed like this. So first, let's just do some basic design in this task. Let's just design it. Let's make it look beautiful, a little bit more beautiful than this. So now I'll go back to my codes now. So now the next thing I want to do, going back to this today component, let me remove this so that we can see very well. Okay, this is too big. Let's make it like this. So inside that today component, so apart from the title, okay, let's go to our today.scss. Let's make some styling in our scss. So here I'm going to say dot today like this. The first thing I want to say is like the font size should be around 28 pixels. Then we are going to give font weight to be bold, and also we are going to have like a color of like hashtag 333. Then after that, that's just, oh sorry, this is for the title. So let me just say dot title up here and close the tag. Don't forget to close your tag. So save this. So for the today actually, so the first one is going to be flex 6. Don't forget we have done display flex up there, so I'm just going to give flex 6. Then we're going to give padding of about 12 pixels, 12 pixels, and also we are going to give the border color, a background color, a background color of about, like, I say of about FC, this color actually, FC, like this. So this is the color we want for our background color. Or let me remove one of this, let's make it this one, something like that. It should be something like white, something like, yeah, exactly like this, hashtag FC. And then I'm going to give like a border radius of about like, let's say 10 pixels. Then a box shadow, very important. So the box shadow is going to be 0, 4 pixel, 6 pixel, RGB. Then inside, let me remove all this, I don't need all this that is inside. Then so it's going to be 0, 0, 0, 3 zeros actually, then 0 0.05, then that's our box shadow. So after this title, now for the list UL, first thing, I don't want any list style should be none. Then the next one, margin should be 0, and padding should be 0 as well. So if I save this and let's check what we have done. So it's compiling. Okay, that's compiled. Refresh this, see what we have here now. So we already have this box shadow, very beautiful. We have this, our title, add new task. So now you see that there's no list style. So let's continue our work. So then after that, I will, inside this UL, the li for each of the lists, the first one, display, is going to be flex, and also align items is going to be center. Then justify content, now in the justify content is going to be space between. Then padding should be 10 pixel, border radius should be let's say 8 pixel, and cursor is pointer, like that. Then we are going to have a background color of hashtag F9F, this color that we have here. Then the transition, there should be a transition, and I'm going to explain it very soon. Background should be 0.3 seconds is, and transform 0.2 seconds is as well. Then we are going to have what else again, border bottom of, let's say 1 pixel solid, hashtag E0, like that. Then let's see what we have, saving this, and let's see what we have. So going back to my browser, alright, something is definitely wrong, but let's see again. Okay, look at what we have. We have this task, but why are they up to the end, like why are they at the end like this? We are going to work on that now. So going back to my codes now, so I'll go back to my Visual Studio Code. So let me come back to this my today component. Now the next thing I want to do actually is that here, after this part, I'm going to have something like, let's say another icon actually. So the name of this icon is navigate next, like for material UI. So I'm going to, let's say, import it first from material UI. So let's me put comma here. I'll say navigate next. So navigate next, exactly. So then I'll be able to use it here. So if I put my navigate next icon here, so I'll say navigate next, like that. So it's a self-closing tag, I will close it like that. Then let's leave it. So let me just copy it and paste it in the other task that we have. I'll paste it here and save, paste it here and save as well. and I'll paste it here and save as well. So going back to the browser and refreshing it, we have, it's currently loading, so we have this. So let's continue our project. So if I go back to this my component, okay, let's come back to our SCSS. So here, let's just continue. So here I'm going to, for the over effect, I want it that when it is over, it should like have an over effect. So, and over like this, we are going to give a new background color so that when you over it, you are going to see, you are going to notice that you have overed on something. So giving this color, then we are going to have like a transform, like a small translate from that, from the y-axis, like it should go down a little bit for like -2 pixels. So it should just shift, it should slightly lift on over. Then after, so look at what we have now. So when I over, do you see how it's like moves up, and look at the background color that it has anytime we over on it. So this is beautiful. So let's continue. So going back to the code now, after this over, let's pick on each input. So I'll get this input, then we are going to, it's at the center, let's bring it to the right a little bit. So I'm going to say margin right to be about, let's say 10 pixels to the right. Then we are going to give width of about 18 pixels, then height of also about 18 pixels as well. Sorry, height of about 18 pixels. Then we are going to give like a modern blue for checkboxes, like in accent color. So I'll just use this accent color and I'll give this color hashtag, let's say 007BFF, like this. Then after that, the next thing we want to, let's see what we have actually before we continue. So going back to the codes, refreshing this page, sorry. So if I refresh this page, okay, it's still at the center. Let's see. So actually we have this checkboxes. So the input is the checkboxes, not the label. I'm mistaken. So let's work on the label now, this label that we have here. So I'm going to go back to the codes now. So after this input, so I'm going to have our label tag for our label, sorry, for our label. Then inside this label, we are going to have font size of 16 pixels and also font weight of about 500. Then we are going to give it color. It's going to be very simple color, like a dark gray, hashtag 444, like that. Then flex 1. So let's see what we have. So going back to my codes now and refreshing this page, so it's currently loading. It's loading exactly. So it's now with the flex one, is now like very beautiful and at the right hand, for at the left hand side. So this is very nice. So now the next thing I want to work on is like I want to work on, if you click on this, it should show you some little information about this task. So let's work on that first. So going back to my code, then I'll go back to this my today component. So before we do that, actually, let's work on something first. So instead of like having these things listed like this, that the way we have it here, so how can we not just have, with the help of React, we can just have one and look through our database or our data, and it's going to like bring out the rest for us. This is what I'm saying. So I'm just going to delete all the other LIs that we have here and leave only one LI. Then I'll come up here. So up here I'm going to say, so here I'm going to say like const like tasks to get like our data. We this is just going to be a dummy data. We have not configured our data, we are not working with our backend first. So I'm just going to put like a dummy data here, like a test data. So the first one I'm going to say, like, let's say ID, and I'll say task 1, comma, the title is going to be, let's say, research, just like a task, the first task, research content ideas, like that, and I'll put comma. Then date, let's say the date, let's say 20, okay, let's say 12/07/2025, like this, 2025. Then I'm going to put list, and I'll say personal. No, so now this is the first one. I'll copy this and paste it like let's say 4 times. So paste, paste. So I think we already have 4. So if I save this now, so in this one it's going to be task 2. Now this, instead of having this research okay, no, this is the task 2, right? So let's give it another title for the task. I'll say create a database of guest authors, just like this, something dummy actually. Now here I'll give it another, let's say this one is task 3. Now let's give it a date, let's say this one is 1407. Okay, everything, okay, let's put like 1407. And this is a dummy data, the list, you can say work. So this, since this is a today task, let's just give it the same date. So task 3. Now in this task 3 now, let's give it like renew driver's license. So renew driver's license, this one should also be personal. Then task 4, let's give task 4, here should be, let's say finish the back end, sorry, I don't know why I'm typing like this. Finish the back end of your task management app. Then here should be, let's say the list, like the list is just under name for like category. So let me just even change it immediately. This should be category, Control D, so I can just select everything and change it to category like that. So everything is working first fine. So now what we want to do is, now I want to map this task. So from this task I'll get all this data and display them here just with this one li. So how can I do that? To do that, I'm going to use a React function. So it's called mapping. So here, to map this, I'm going to have something like this, and I'll say tasks, don't forget the name we give here. I'll say tasks.map. So if you're not new to React, you will know this very well. So tasks.map. Then what I want to give it, I'll have like an arrow function inside like this, and after that I'm going to have another something like this. So look at what we have. We will map our task that is up here dot map, then we have an arrow function inside like this. So inside this map, so what do we want to give? Let's give it like a prop. So I'll call it task like that. So after that I'll paste this li into this place like this, paste it like this and save it. So input type checkbox. So this li, I'll give it a key. Anytime you use your mapping, you must give it a key. I'll say task, remember we give it a key up here, task.id. so that will be our id, this id that we have here, that's the key. Then inside our input type checkbox id, let's say task dot, sorry, don't forget it's not string, so task dot id like that in our id here again. Then after that, in our label, so here is just going to be task dot title. So if I save this and go back to our browser, you see with just this one li, I've looped through all the data we give it up here. So this will make our work easier. So let's see, going back here, you see I have research content ideas, create a database for guest author, everything with just one li with the help of mapping. So that is that. So let's continue our project. So if I come back here now, if you notice, we only display one information. Let me remove this html4, I don't need this. Now we only display task title, but in our data we have like dates, we have category, we have like other informations to display. But if you see here, we don't have it. The only thing we are showing is just like our title and our checkbox. So what I want to do is that when I want to have another, if you click this, there should be like a drop down, this box should increase, and then we have like a section for like the date, the end, the due date, the category, and other informations that we want to display. So to do that, if I come back to my code here, so inside here, after in my label, so inside this place, so we are going to have some beautiful things there. So here I'm going to have like a div. So the div is going to be div.details actually, so I'll say div.details like this. Now inside this div.details, we are going to have we are going to have left, div.left, and also div dot inside the div.left, we are going to have div.center and div.right. So div.center and also div.right like this. So in my div.left, in the left, we are going to have an icon. It's called today, like a calendar icon. So today outlined like that, today outlined. So I'll import this. Note, make sure that it is imported here. So then today outline is a self-closing tag, but first, before that, I'll give it a class name, and it's going to be icon. So like class name, and the class name is going to be icon. Then after that, we close our tag. Then after, we are going to have like a p tag, so just like a normal p tag. Inside this place, we are going to have the tags.date. That is the due date that we have there. So this is like a calendar, then we have dates. So that's just what is going to be on our left. In our right, it's just like subtask. We are going to work on that later in this video. So let's just put a dummy data in there. So in this subtask, I'll just say span. I'll give it a span, and here we are going to have like let's give it like 2, just like its number of subtask, then a p tag. So inside this p tag, I'll have like subtasks like this. Then after that, we are going to have in our div.right. So in this div.right, we are going to have some beautiful stuff here. So the first one, span. So inside this span is just going to be an empty span, and this span is going to be like, let's say a rectangle actually. But after that, we are going to have the p tag. So this p tag is going to be task dot category. So with this, we have displayed every information of each task. So if I go out to my browser and see what we have here, like we have this calendar, we have the dates, we have the subtask, then we have personal, and we have this. But this does not make sense. So let's work on the design very well. So I'll go back to my codes now. So let's go back to our SCSS. So I'll come back to my SCSS in this today.scss. So we stopped at this label part. Then I'm going to, after this label, or inside the label rather, so inside this label, I'm going to say dot details. Now in the dot details, display is going to be flex. So display is going to be flex, and align items is going to be center. Then we are going to have flex wrap. So flex wrap should be wrap, and after that, we are going to give a gap of 15 pixels, then a padding of like 8 pixels. 8 pixel. Then after that, we are going to give it like a margin top of about 5 pixels, and transition, we are going to have a beautiful transition. Then opacity is 0.3 seconds, ease in out like that. So saving this, going back to the browser. So if I save this and go back to my browser, so we have this. You see, before it was listing all these things straight line, but now it's listing them on how the like a flex on horizontally. So now if we go back to my code here, so we've dealt with the details. Now inside the detail, we have the left and right. So let's pick on the left first. So in the left, we're going to say display flex as well. So display is going to be flex, and also align items center. So align item center and also justify content center. Then we are going to have like a border, and it's going to be 1 pixel solid hashtag 8888, like that. So it's going to be something like a grayish color. Gap is going to be 5 pixels, and also like padding right of about 10 pixels. Now inside this, let's get the icon that we have there. For the today icon, the font size should be 12 pixel, and the color should be hashtag 777, like that. So saving this as well. Then after that, we have a p tag there. So the p tag the font size should be 12 pixels as well. So we are done with the left. So going back to the browser and refreshing this, let's see what we have there. So now see, so for this is the, what's it called, this is the left, and see what we have now. So it's beautiful. We have, but why do we have this rectangle? Let's work on that. Oh, the reason why we are having that rectangle is because of, like, it should be border right, but we put border. We'll work on that later. But what I want to show you, that this is the left, this is the center, and this is the right. So we are done with the left. So let's work on the center and the right. So for the, so now I'll go back to the codes now. So here, if I come back here now, inside this place, it should be border right, not the whole border. So if I save this in the left, border right. So saving this and going back to our browser, refreshing this, is going to be the only right part that is going to have that, what's it called, that border, you see. So now the next thing, going back to the code now, let's work on our center. So after this part, I will say dot center to work on the center parts of the code. So in the same way, it's going to be display flex as well, and align items center. Justify content is also going to be center. Then border is going to be 1 pixel solid hashtag 888, like before. Saving this, then I'll have my gap of like 5 pixel as well. Then we are going to have padding right, just almost the same thing of what we have in our left. So padding right is going to be 10 pixels. So after that, we have like a span inside. So let's get the span that is inside there. So this span display is going to be flex, justify content center. So align items center. Width is going to be like 20 pixels, and height is going to be height is going to be 15 pixels. Then border radius of about 5 pixels, 5 pixels. Then we are going to have a background color of RGB. So this is the color that I want. So RGB 230, 226, and 226, like that. So something like a white color, a light gray actually. Then color is going to be hashtag 333, that's like a dark gray. Then font size is 10 pixel, and font weight is bold. Now margin left auto. So this is just going to push our counter. You know, this pan is the counter, is going to push it to the, like, the end of the page, at the end of the div actually. So if I save this, and also then let's take our p tag. The p tag, the font size should be 12 pixels. So let's see what we've done. Now I'm going to go back to the browser now. So I just want to wait for this to compile, so it will not be wasting our time there. So it has compiled already. So coming back to my browser here, and exactly, see, we have this is the span that we have here. So now the same thing, the same mistake we made, it should be border right, not only the whole border. So we just get border alone. So I'm going to come back here. So in my center here again, I'll say border right. So after doing that, go back to my codes and refreshing. So it's currently loading. So now there's subclass. So now let's work on this other part, the third part of this. This is the right, this left, center and right. Let's work on the right part now. So going back to our codes here. So here, after that, I'm going to get I'll come out of this place. So I'll say dot right. So here, if you see, after like two closing, you see, after this center, so I make sure that I'm outside of that part. So now in this dot right, actually, so it's going to also be display flex, almost the same thing of what we had there. So align items is center, justify content is also center, so everything will be perfectly centered. Then gap of about 5 pixels as well, 5 pixels, so do not be jam packed. Then padding right, so padding right of 10 pixels. So saving this. Now inside that we have, let me go back to my today component. So these are right, we have this pan, let's give it a class name. So the class name is going to be color. So I'm going to show you what we want to do here actually. So now I'll come back here and I'll say dot color, height should be 12 pixels. We want a perfect square, width should be 12 pixels as well, and background color should be red. Then border, we don't want any border should be none. Then also border radius should be, let's say, 3 pixels. I'm going to explain what will happen here very soon. Then after that, I have a p tag outside. The font size should be 12 pixels. Then so after that, now I will come here. Let's go to our browser and see what we have. So now we have this very beautiful. So the next thing we want to do now is that, look at, for our personal, look at our color code here. Our personal is red, work is like something like light blue, the color we have here, and other is yellow. But what we have here is just red. So to condition this, that anytime we have personal, it should be red, work, it should be like light blue, and other should be yellow, we have to write some inline CSS where we put the condition there. So let me show you what I'm saying. I'm back in my code now. So what I want to do, I'll go back to my today component. So in this my span for this class name color, I'm going to give it a style here. So I'll say style should be like, style double braces or double curly braces. Then background color. Now we are going to write some condition. Normally if I want to write my background color, I'll just say something like red like this, but now that's not what I want to do. So I want to write some conditions. The first condition is that I'll say if task.category is equal to like if task.category is personal, then the background color should be hashtag E74C3C, like that. So else if the task dot category is equal to this 3 equal to like this, if it is work, then the color should be, if it is work, the color should be hashtag, so the color should be, I'll remove this, the color should be, but before that, let me put like this here. So the color should now be this color, hashtag 3498dp, like that. Now why else if it's not any of these two, the color should just be this color f1 c40f, like that. So I'll save this. If I save this, let me explain what we have here if you don't understand. So the first thing that we will say, if the task.category is personal, then the color should be this color that we have here. Else if task.category is work, like this, then we should have this color. While else we should have this color. If it's not any of these two, we should have this color. It's just like if else statement. So we did not spell this in very well, so it should be category, like this. So if I save this and go back to my browser, so let's just change one of these. So we have personal, work. Let's put this one to be others, like this, others, the category. So now we have personal, work, and others. So for this personal, it should be, what is the color for our personal? I think it's blue. This one, it should be like yellow, this one blue, and this one, the work, should be red. So we should have one red there. So let's go to our browser. So if I come here and refresh this, so okay, our personal is red, our work is blue. Okay, personal is red, our work is blue. Now this others, it should be this color that we have here. So something is not right. Let's check that. So if you come here, this one, I didn't put my hashtag there. So if I put my hashtag and save this, then going back to our code, so going back to the browser, refreshing this, so this others should be this color that we have here. So it's still loading. So you see, we have this personal is red, this other is this color, and this work. So we've done that. Very beautiful. Now the next thing we want to do is that I don't want it to be displaying static like this. I want it that when we click this, that is when this should be displayed. So before we do that, let's just like design, let's reduce the size of this icon that we have here. So if I go back to my code now, so going back to my code now, come back here in this navigate next, I'm going to give it like a class name. So the class name is going to be, let's say icon. The class name is going to be icon. Let's just leave it like that, as an icon. Then I'll go into my today.scss. So after this p tag, I'll say dot icon, like this, dot icon, and then I'll say margin left. Margin left should be auto to push it to the end. The font size should be 18 pixels, and the color should be, let's say, hashtag 777. Then I want to give it a transition because we are going to make a transition very soon. Okay, but before we do that transition, let's just see what we have first. At first, let's see what we have. So going back to our browser, refreshing this, it should reduce a little bit. Sorry. So refreshing this is, you see, we have this here, dot icon, but did it really make any changes? Let me see. Yeah, it did. We get our dot icon here, and today dot, we give it like class name icon from here. So that is that. So if I say to confirm, if I say display none, it should not show at all. So let's see, and go back to my browser, refresh, we should not see it at all. So okay, so something is not right. That means it's not getting it. I guess as much. The reason why that is not working is that I put this icon inside my, what's it called, inside my right, like inside this right directory, inside this right div. So if I come out here, if you see where this label is, it is inside our li tag. It's outside all these things. It's just inside this li tag, this li that we have here. So it should be outside the label. So this is what I'm saying. I'm going to come back to my today.scss. See where our label is, this blue one. So it should be outside this place, this input, this icon that we have here. So I'm going to cut this and see the color of our label. Where is it? So the label is like something like this blue color. So I'm going to look for it down here. So this is it here. So I'm going to paste it after this part. So I'll paste it here, icon, and save this. So let me save it. So are we sure that that is where it is? So we have this label. Yeah, I think that is right. So if I come back here, if if I come back here, you see it's not showing at all. The display none is not showing. So if I go back to my code now and I'll remove this display none, so our changes should work now. So it's compiling, going back to the browser, you see it's now very small and the color is okay. So let's work on what I want to do now. So to get, I want it that when we click this should not show at first until we click this. So when we click this, so this should now show. So all this like content that we have here should show on when we click this, like this small icon that is there. So to do that, we are going to be using React hook and some functions. So I'll go back to my code, go back to this my today component. So first now to do, I'll come up here. So in this place, I'm going to use some React hook. So I'm very sure we are familiar with it. So the first one I want to use is, I'll say const open task and set open task. I'm very sure we are familiar with React hook. If you are not familiar with it, just follow along. So it's very important. It's a very important feature of React. So use states, and I'll say null at first. So we have to import this use states. Okay, it's already imported from up. So we have this const open task and set open task is like use state, we set it to null. Then I'm going to write an arrow function here. So I'll say const toggle details, like this. Toggle details is going to be an arrow function. I'll pass in a prop of like an ID. Then inside this arrow function, we are going to now set open task to like true. So I'll say set open task. Then first thing I want to confirm is that if open task, so that if open task is equal to ID, it should set open. So if open task is equal to the ID that is here, then it should set the open task to null. Else, if it's not equal to ID, it should now set it to ID. So this is what we are just saying, that if open task is equal to ID, that means if it is clicked, then it should set this state back to null. That means it should close it. But if it is not clicked, it should set to the ID, then that means it should open it. Don't worry, let's see when we use it in proper, you are going to see what we are saying. So here I'm just going to come here in this label tag. From these details I will use, so I'm just going to come here. So if I come here now, I'm now going to say I'll set that open task, the task in the state that we opened there. So open task, I'll set it to like task.id like this. Then after that, so if open task, I set open task to be task.id. So if it is equal to task.id, what should happen is that it should now display what we have here. So anytime open task is equal to task.id, we should display what we have here. So I'll cut this and paste it here. So if I save this, now you see what we did. So here we have this condition that we should set open task to what? If open task is equal to task.id, we should set it back to null, else it should be ID. So here we are now saying that if we set open task to be task.id, and anytime open task is equal to task.id, this should be displayed. So that is how we can do that. So the next thing we want to do is just that when should this, okay, let me just save this and go into my browser and see what we have there. So if I come back here and refresh, you see that we are not seeing it because what? Open task is set to null at default. So it's only when we click this thing, I'll use like on click here. So it's only when we click this thing that open task is now going to be set back to like the ID. So in default with React state, we set it to what? Null. So let's work on that now. Let's use the onClick function so that when we click this, it's going to display the open task. So here I'll go back to my code now. So here I'm now going to say in this my navigate next, I'll say onClick, like arrow function is going to be a function, an arrow function as well. So passing a prop like like that. Then inside we are going to have let's say we are going to say toggle details, call that toggle details function, and I'll pass in the task.id. So after that, I'm going to save it. So anytime we click this arrow function, you see toggle details tags.id. Don't forget that we have this toggle details function up here. So now anytime we click this function, anytime we click this, it's going to set open task to be what? To be null, to be id rather. So now the next thing we want to do is, if I go back to the browser now and refresh this. So if I click this, you see it's displaying. If I click it back, it will go. If I click this, it's displaying it, and if I click it back, it will go. So if you can just pause the video and look at the code very well and get the understanding of the code. So this is like the simplest way we can do that. So now the next thing I want to do is just that I want it that anytime we click this arrow, this icon should like rotate 180 degree to show that like it's displaying something, and if you click it back, it should rotate back. So this is what I'm saying. So I'll go back to my code now. So first, in this navigate icon, the first thing we want to do is that this class name, we give it a class name. So we want to give it like a double class name. So once it that when it is icon, when it is like if the open task is equal to id, it should be rotate, else it should be icon. Sorry, what I'm saying is that first we are going to have this icon as default, then I want to add another a class name here. So the class name is going to depend on whether the open task is equal to the id or not. So what I'm trying to say is going to depend on whether you've clicked the icon or not. So when we click the icon, the class name will be rotate. If you not click the icon, it's just going to be like normal. It's not going to have that rotate class name. So this is what I'm saying. So first thing first, we are going to put this in like a curly braces like that. Then inside, I'm going to remove this string, so it's no longer a string. I'll put this this symbol here. Then so we already have this class name. So this is just like string, the way you can use string in React. So I'll put this $sign and I want to write a function there. So I'll say if open task is equal to task.id, then you should have this class name of like rotate aside from that icon, else it should be empty class name. I don't know if you get this. So by default this have this icon class name, but now we just want to say, since we want to write this function, that is the reason why we put this symbol here. Please take note of this. So what we are just saying is that, and we put this $sign for this symbol for this function that we write here. So this is just the way we can write, like it's just like the way we maneuver string to write functions in React. So what we say actually is that if open task is equal to task.id, then you should have this class name rotate. Else if it does not have that, if open task is not equal to task.id, it should not have any class name. So now anytime you click, what this is doing, that let me go to my browser. So if you click this thing, it will have open task. Anytime you click it, open task is equal to task.id, and anytime you click it, then this thing will have like another class name called rotate. If you click it out, open task is not equal to task.id, so there's no class name there. So that's what we did. So the reason why we do that is that we want to make some styling. So if I come back to my today.scss, I'll go down here. So after in this icon, note in this icon part, so I'll have something like and rotate like that. So when the open task is equal to task.id, we are going to transform it. Then when you use transform, we have some, then we are going to rotate it 90 degrees. I'll save this. This is just what we did. So anytime you click that, it's going to have this rotate class name, and anytime you have that rotate class name, it's going to transform it and rotate it 90 degrees. Let's see what we did in our browser. So if I come back to my browser now, refresh this page, and I refresh this page, let me refresh it. So if I click this, do you see If I click this, it's going. So anytime you click this, it's going to rotate. If you click it out, it's going to return back to normal. We click it, it's rotating. Click it again, it's going to return back to normal. So we are done with this first part of it. Very, very interesting project. So if you did not get anything, please pause the video and look at it very well. So now let's work on our tomorrow and this week now. So we want to work on our tomorrow components and this week components. So it's just the same way. We are just going to copy what we have here and edit it a little bit and put it here and put it here as well. So let's work on that now. Okay, so now let's continue our project. So I will go to the code now. So here I'm going to close this and close this as well, and then close everything actually. So back here, let's close this. So now we need some new components. So in my components directory, I'll create a new folder, 2 new folders actually. I'll call one tomorrow, then another one, and I'll create another folder again. The next one, this folder is going to be week. So in the tomorrow folder, so new file, we are going to have tomorrow.jsx, and also we are going to have tomorrow.scss. So for the Sass file. And in this week also, I'll create a new file inside. It's going to be week.jsx and also week.scss. Now, so in our tomorrow file here, it's the same way. Write your arrow function with this refce. Then I will have this here. I'll say div class name, give it a class name, let's call it tomorrow as well. Then save this, and also let us import our SCSS file, that tomorrow.scss. So I'll just say the same way we import ./tomorrow.scss. So and confirm if you have imported it correctly. So you can confirm by just pressing Control and clicking it, or Command and click. So if everything works fine, it should link to the file. So okay, I don't know what's wrong, but I think it's linked correctly. Then what else do we need to do in our week.jsx? So I'll write my arrow function here as well and give this div a class name. So I'll call it week. Then let us import our week.scss. So I'll say import the same way ./week.scss as well. So with this, we have imported those files. So the next thing I want to do, okay, let me start our React app again. Mine is closed, I don't know why. Let me just quickly start it there. So npm start. So I've currently started my development server is starting here. So it should have started. Sorry, let me go back to my terminal. So I think it's already working. Let me just leave that now. So now we've linked this SCSS. So to confirm our linking, you see it went straight to this week.scss. So I'll come back to my tomorrow.js. Okay, now let's open our pages first. So this home.jsx. So here, let me close this side panel. So we have our top. This top is where we pass today. So in these lefts, we're going to have our tomorrow, and this place we are going to have this week. So how can I do that? So I'll just come here, I'll pass in that component that we just created, that tomorrow component. So I'll just say tomorrow. So it's going to import it for me. Okay, it's not bringing the suggestion. Okay, yes, the suggestion is currently out now, so I'll just see it here and see the import here. Import tomorrow from component/tomorrow/tomorrow. Then in this right hand side, I'm going to have the week. So the week component, that is week component. So the same way, it's going to bring the suggestion for me. I'll click it and it's going to import it up, as you can see up here, right here, like this. So now going back to our browser, we should have like that displayed. Let me show you. Let's go to the browser here and I will refresh this page. So these are tomorrow components and these are this week components. So in the same way, we are actually going to have the same. So is this component, these both components, they're actually going to look like this same one. So we can actually copy the codes of this and put it right here. So let's just do that. but it's just that the reason why I'm separating them is when we're writing our API calls, because our API call for today will be different, for tomorrow will be different, and for this week will also be different. So now let's just copy what we have in today, paste it in tomorrow, and also paste it in this week. So let's do that now. So going back to my code, so I will remove this. So, and also I can remove this my home component. So let's open our today. So I'll just search my today.jsx. So I will copy almost everything that we have inside, if not everything. So from this part, actually from this p tag down to the ul before the div tag. So I'll copy this and paste it in my tomorrow, and also paste it in my this week, like this. So saving it. So the next thing that I want to do actually is that I will rename, I'm going to rename, let me remove this very well, let me bring this down. So in this our tomorrow, so let me save this. Okay, it's already saved. Sorry that I took some time. I'm just allowing this prettier code formatter to format the code. So the code is already formatted now, as you can see. So here in this today, I'm going to remove it. So here is going to be tomorrow, like this. Then the next thing in this week.jsx, so I'll save this also so that the code will be formatted. Then in this today, this is, I'll say this week, like this. So after that, so the next thing we want to do is that there are two things actually. Now you notice that we are mapping through some database. Like, let me show you, where is it? Okay, yeah, we are mapping through some things to display our task. So you remember in our today.jsx we have some tasks up here. So we have to create some tasks for this tomorrow and also for this week also. So let's do that now. Now I'm going to go to my tomorrow.jsx. So up here I will create what we did there. So like const task is going to be equal to a list like this, an array, and inside we are going to have our task. So I'm just going to paste this, so you can pause the video to write it out. So I'll paste this for my clipboard. So I'll put this. So this is going to be the first task, like task 1, task 2. And in my week.jsx I'll do the same thing here. So the same way, const tasks is going to be an array like this, and here I'm going to paste for my clipboard as well. So I'll just paste what I have in my clipboard, so I'll paste this here. So in the same way, after that we are just going to save this. Something is wrong. Okay, I copied it twice. So saving this, everything is working well. So let me see if there's no error. Okay, let me come down. It's compiling. I think it's compiling with an, okay, it's compiled successfully. So now let's go to our browser and see what we have. Okay, it's showing us that add is not defined because there are some material UI component that we use that is not here. So coming back here in my tomorrow.jsx, I hope you are following this very well. So we have some icon like this icon that we use here, and also this navigate next icon that we use here. So I'm just going to come back to this today.js component. So I will copy what we have here and paste it in tomorrow, paste it here, and also paste it in week.jsx. I'll paste it here as well. Then save this, go back to your browser, refresh. You should have some things displayed now. Hopefully it's currently loading. Okay, we are still having some issues actually. So let me just inspect and see what is going on. Let's see if there's an error while trying to use the following icon. So we are still having some icons error. So coming back, I'll go back to my browser. So I'll see, let's see what's wrong. So it's actually not icon error. I think the error is from, like, we are using some, we use some use states like this open task and some use state function that we use that is not. So in today's GSS we have this function, this state, and this toggle details function. So we only copied all these things without copying this, so there's no way React is going to find this in this tomorrow and that week.jsx. So what we just need to do now is copy this. It's still going to be the same thing everywhere, so I'll just copy this, come to this tomorrow.jsx, paste it right here. So I'll paste it here, paste it here, save it, so the code is going to format it. And also in week.jsx, let me cancel this first. In week.jsx, I'll paste it right here as well. So saving this as well, so it's going to work. Then the next thing we are going to do is import use states from this place. So I'll put comma here and import our use states function, use states, like that. Then save. Let's copy this and paste it in tomorrow.jsx, or we write it here as well, so we can import our use state function and save this. So with this, we should have something displayed in our browser. So coming and refreshing, let's see here now. So we have our tomorrow task and we have our this week task, but what do you notice? There's no styling at all or whatsoever in this. So let's make the styling now. So I'm just going to copy some of the codes that we have in our tomorrow and this week. In some of the styling that we have in this today.scss, I'll paste it right here. So let's do that now. I'll come back to my code. So I'll close this. So now let's just open our tomorrow.scss file and this week.scss file. So I'll just control click this to open, and also in this week.scss, I'll just control click this as well to open. So we have this week.scss. Okay, sorry, let me just open the tomorrow.scss normally. Then we have this tomorrow.scss here. Okay, let's work with our tomorrow first. So now the first thing in this place, we give the class name. Div class name is tomorrow. So here I'll just say dot tomorrow like this, and inside we are going to have padding of 12 pixels, and also background color of about background color of hashtag FCFCFC, something like whitish in color. Then border radius is going to be 12 pixels, so 12 pixels. Then after then, what are we going to have in our tomorrow.scss? So aside from this, all other things is going to be the same as the today.scss. So I'll just come to my today.scss file. So right here, let me bring it here. So in this today.scss, I'm going to copy everything we have here from this title to this place like this. So I'll copy this and paste it right here, then save this as well. So let's quickly do the same thing for this week.scss. So let me bring it here. So in the same way, I'll say dot week like this. Then it's going to have the same way, padding of 12 pixels, and background color. The background color is going to be hashtag FCFC like that. Then we are going to have border radius of 12 pixels, as well. Then everything that we copied there, I'll paste it here as well. So with this, we can just go back to our browser and see what we have. So everything should have been styled perfectly and everything should work correctly. So let's go to the browser now. So if I come here and refresh my page, so it's currently loading. So now look what we have now. So everything is styled correctly. So we have this out today, we have this out tomorrow, we have this out this week. It is all beautiful, and all this drop down is working for all the components as well. So now the question now is, let us work on this add new task. If I click this, it should bring out a pop-up for us to create a new task where we have form to create all the tasks like that. And also if we click the form, if we click this, we should also have a pop-up for editing a task. So that is going to be our next item now. So let's get straight into that.